So I'm hoping to get an unboxing on this. That is, if I can get it out of the crate, which could be proven to be a bit challenging as it is nailed down. But let's see how we get on anyways. But I can absolutely assure you that was a real struggle, basically, seeing that was the only tool I have here. But anyways, we've got it. We've got an airbrush compressor, tanked compressor. It's come all the way from Jakarta to Batam. Inside the box we have instruction manual, an airbrush of some sort. Oh my god, I don't know what on earth that's going to be like, but we got it. Some holding device, the compressor itself. We'll get outside the box and have a look at everything in detail and give it a test run. Okay, everything's out the box. What you get is big old tanked compressor, which is just this design that you see absolutely everywhere. You see it on Amazon, you see it on eBay, you see it everywhere, okay? You've got the regulator, which is loose. You've got a airbrush stand, and there's absolutely no way I know how to fix it on, but it doesn't matter. You've got some PTFE tape to seal the threads. Got an airline. What does the box say? Piston type, oil less. And then there's some pictures of what you use it for. Tattooing, painting a vase, footballs, and your car tyres. Let's see what the output is. It's a 3-litre tank. It has a output of 23 litres a minute. Weighs 5 kilograms, and it's got the 1/8 BSP thread, which is that outlet there, I think. Anything else? Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm just going to quickly show you the so-called instruction manual, and then we'll go and set this up, and there's really nothing to it at all. It's just if you've ever pondered about if there's anything special about these compressors. Well, there isn't. There's a spec, but it's telling you it's got a safety valve in this so that the air pressure is automatically stops when you reach 6 bar in the air tank. That's kind of important. That this is the installation. It absolutely tells you nothing. Basically, it just says take it out of the box and plug it in. Right. Safety, yeah, don't be silly. Yeah, where you use it. Usual electronic. There's nothing really to add about that. Okay, operating instructions. Connect the equipment to the outgoing 1/8 inch BSP male fitting at the front of your cylinder head. That is that there. So this is the 1/8 inch connection right here. And what you do is we'll do it anyways. We'll put some tape on that thread. Probably don't need to show you that. And then the regulator will screw on to there. We'll do that a little bit later on. And we'll do a couple of tests on it as well. It shows you how the regulator works. There's a little diagram. What you do is you push it down and up, but I'll show you all that stuff later on. And here's the maintenance, so it's really easy to use. Clean the compressor after every use. That means nothing at all. What do? Bring it to a car wash, whatever, it means nothing, okay? After every use, drain the water collected in the filter regulator bowl, which is that there, which you don't really need to, and I'm going to show you why later. Once every 3 months, clean the filter of the filter regulator. And there's the filter, which is like a brass wire type one. There's an exploded diagram showing you all the parts. Believe me, you will never replace any of these parts because they are cheap. These compressors, it's 70 euros or about 75 quid, maybe $80, maybe less if you can really look around for these compressors. So don't worry about repairing them, just go out and buy another one. Simple as that. Okay, we'll set it up and I'll show you how it works. And I don't think we're really going to get into this. This one came with an airbrush with this snazzy coating on it. I think it's a 0.2. You can tell by the action it's cheap as chips, yeah, and it is really cheap, yeah. But it's what we've got. it's what we're going to use, and we'll live with it. Yep. So let's go and set this thing up right now. Okay, here's the PTFE tape, and all that is, it's just to provide a tight seal on that outlet there. So, and we're not going to need very much of it. We just do a little snip off a little piece. That's all we need to do. So that, and then wrap it around the outlet like so. Then we'll put this on and start to screw it tight. This is the regulator. Pretty good construct. A lot of the ones I've had previously have been plastic. This one's actually got a metal body to it. And right down here, I'll just explain this. This is the water trap, and it said that you had to unscrew this, which you can. That's how you gain access to that filter there. But to let the water out, all you need to do is press that up like so. And what we'll do, we'll check the, there's only 2 controls on here, and I'm just going to show you how it works. There's a switch on top to switch it on, and there's the regulator there, and there is the regulator pressure gauge and the indications in PSI and bar. There is not, and that is just the pressure that's coming out, not the pressure in the tank. The tank is separate, but there should be a cut out. So what we'll do, we'll just do we'll run it up, and I'll show you how it works. The other part of this as well, we need to screw on. This is the hose for the airbrush, and we need to connect up an airbrush, or we won't be able to stop that outlet. That's what we need to do. So I'll just set that up for you now. Okay, so here's the airbrush hose. They've got the same outlets exactly. They have got O-rings inside them. All I need to do is screw them on like so. And the other end goes onto the airbrush. And now the valve is that trigger there. That's all. That's how we're going to release air. So let's fire this up. We'll hear how loud or quiet this is. We're just about ready to power on, but I forgot to show you some other parts of the airbrush, or the compressor, the compressor, okay? So just to explain how it works. Inside here, a piston's getting driven back and forth, and air is taken in. The motor's up here. This here is a cut-off switch for the motor. There's the power switch. This line here is the pneumatic, the air supply into the tank. And the tank also, here, this is called a PRV, pressure release valve, and this will blow off if this tank gets over pressurized. So this blows out to prevent the tank exploding. And also, and this should be in the maintenance instructions, but it's not. If you see underneath there, there's that brass screw. That is a drain for the tank, which is much more useful to you than that water trap, because the water trap's here. The actual bottom of the tank, like the sump, if you will, is right under there. So if you've got moisture buildup, you want to prevent rust, obviously, forming inside the tank. You unscrew that, and you know, if there's any water or something, you can drain it out. So that's worth it. Okay. So, anyways, enough talk. Let's switch it on. There it goes, humming away. And after a while, we'll see this start to build up. We're going to listen out for any air leaks, yeah? This is the main sort of thing that we need to do. We need to check. I can hear a slight air leak. show you how this regulator works. You can push that up and then increase it, and you can drop it down, lock it off. I've got a bit of an air leak here. I haven't. Can you hear that? Yeah, I haven't got an effective seal. I'm gonna have to redo this. Let's redo that. So we're off and away. You see, it's more to do with how this has ended up basically. You see how the regulator's at a bit of a cant, just to give it that extra nip there. And the leak was right at the edge, so I brought the tape out a ways there. So let's let this charge up, and we'll hear it kick in after a little while. The motor cut off automatically after it reaches. The pressure won't change, by the way. That's just pressure of the outlet valve there. That's all it's regulating. Pressure in the tank's building up constantly. We don't even know what it is, but it will auto cut out after a while. So we'll just let this run until it cuts out by itself, and that's it'll be ready for operation. Still going, no leaks. To check as well, you need to check if you do get leaks. You can get leaks here, anywhere there's an air connection, there's a possibility for leaks. And also, of course, remember underneath that as well, that's a leak point, and so is this moisture trap here as well. I've had that previously. I'll press that in, I'll just show you how that has got a good amount of pressure in there. If I can get it there, you can bleed that off like so. If that fails to function, and I've seen that on the cheaper ones, which is this cheap anyways, then you just got air constantly coming out of there. And I had that previously on one of these regulators. All I did was just I put some 2-part epoxy and just totally sealed that hole, because it doesn't really matter, you don't need it. You can unscrew this and dump out water that way. So you can hear the motor getting a little bit slower now. It's been running a couple of minutes, and there you go, there's cut off and fully primed, ready to check. Let's here's the airbrush, of course. I've got it on minimum pressure at the moment. I'm just going to adjust that up a little bit. Let's get up to about. Let's have a look. I'll just check this. This is a good check for your regulator operation. So I've got it set to, let's see, 5. I think that's 20 there. So it should be about 15 psi. And then as you operate it, see the valve, it just slightly, ever so slightly, the needle indicator just moves, but as you depress it, it remains constant. So it is regulating the airflow. And to adjust it, so increase air pressure, just pop that up and just turn it. There we go. So we'll go up to 20. Check it again. See it move down just a little tiny amount. So that's constant, falling pressure. A lot of people get confused about airbrushes as well. They think that double action means that this somehow you can somehow play with the pressure by less and more. That is not what that does. That's just on off. So two-way means air and then paint. Not I can do a little bit of air, a little bit less. Okay, so I've used a bit more tank. It dropped down to a certain amount, and now it's recharging the tank. Once it gets up to the pressure again, it'll cut off. It shouldn't be too long. This is the mystery. This bracket. There's nowhere to put it at all. It's like, what do you do with it? What do you do with that? That doesn't go anywhere. Kind of cute though, they include it inside. So let's just let that recharge. This is the normal operation of an airbrush. It's pretty quiet, this one. It's not bad. It's got it on a table here. It's got rubber feet on the bottom to isolate it a little bit from the mechanical vibration. You'll hear this valve just kick in very soon. There it goes, clink. That's it. So you basically, when you're airbrushing like long sessions, you're spraying. See, it's quiet. The only sound is that, and then after a certain while, that tank needs to be recharged, and then it goes and stops, and that's your normal operation. So it keeps the motor is ever so slightly warm. That's all it is. Here's the blow-off valve as well. I think you can check the operation of this. You see that? This is the blow-off valve, and it's rated to a certain pressure, so you can actually... I'll just do that one more time. I'll just show you the test. All you do is little up pull, and that blows it off. It's like a blow-off valve, pressure release valve, but you don't need to touch that. And that's when we're saying about where air can leak from. That's another area. So you don't really need to do that. You probably only need to check it once, if ever. Okay, that's all. Let's see how this sprays. We'll talk about the airbrush in another video. Okay, it's time for an airbrush review. And I haven't seen anybody do a review on any of these what do you call them? Proprietary airbrushes, unbranded airbrushes. You know, it's everybody calls them cheap Chinese copies. You can actually see there's the different ones that you can get. Yeah, we've got that. Which one have we got? We've got that one there, right in the middle. There's exactly the same one. It's got like a Mac valve type there. There's another one. It's got a, I don't know, I think it's a compressor on an air. I'm really tempted to get one of them just to see what they're like. And then there's this groovy one here. They've got this nice, very attractive anodized coating on them, which I can imagine makes them quite attractive to the sort of nail brush artists, etc. And of course to me as well. I mean, it looks great. So there's nothing on the box except for this. It tells you which it is. It's a 130, which means nothing to me. It's a 0.3 nozzle. It's got a 7cc cup, and it's a double action airbrush. Double action airbrush just means this: one action is air, second action is paint. That's all. That's all it means. Yeah. Whereas the other one, whereas a single action, you've only got one action, which is paint and air at the same time. And I'll show you what I mean by that. You can press air, there'll be no paint coming out, then you go to paint. So that's just the difference. So what have you got inside the box? Got the airbrush itself. You've got an adapter, that's like a quick release type adapter, a little pipette, and that little screw there is for removing the nozzle. So we're just going to take this apart really quickly. This one has a fancy little adjustment, so you can change how far back the needle will travel. It is absolutely covered in machine oil type Vaseline. So that's I'm just got grease everywhere basically. The needle itself is like lubed up thick with it. It's sticky lube, so it needs a clean even before we even begin. Then the nozzle parts here. Remember, this is not the nozzle. This is the nozzle protector. That's what that is, nozzle protector. The actual nozzle, still can't see. I have to unscrew this, and I'm not going to. I'm actually not going to do that. You can just see the outlet there. I'm not going to unscrew it. I'm not going to take off the actual copper part, the nozzle itself. I might do later on, but that's your basic strip down, yeah. And yeah, the cop does come off as well. It does come off. You can remove that, which makes it easy to clean. right deep in there with your Q-tips and your whatevers. That feels so, it feels, honestly, it probably isn't right, but it feels like as if I could crush that with my fingers. I don't think I could. I don't think I could. So, there's a just generic needle. Why even bother to review a cheap airbrush? Well, the reason is because there's a lot of false economy, isn't there? I can actually understand it. When I bought my first setup airbrushing, I bought exactly the same rig. I got that style compressor and a cheapo generic airbrush. At the same time, I bought my TR2 Iwata, which I still have to this day, like 11 years later. I still use the same airbrush I bought on day one. And we can go into that later on. But these ones are disposable. That's what I consider them. It's just like, you know, like a cheapo paintbrush that you might just use once or twice and then throw out. But let's see how it sprays. Oh, by the way, yeah, we'll never get this rigged up properly, but I've just put this temporarily on there as a hold. So let's add some paint and just see how it sprays, just for fun. I just want to state unequivocally, this is probably the worst type of test that you can do. If you scale model channel, test out your paints and airbrushes on real plastic. We're going to do it on paper because I haven't got any dud models to try on. I could probably build up a few for you though, very quickly. But what I've done, I've loaded in a little bit of paint in the cup there, straight from the bottle, the Model Air Tire Black, and I've got some scrap paper here. And so this is your cheapo freebie airbrush. Can't be, I would say like $4 or $5 airbrush. So let's just give it a little go with a 0.3 needle. Oop. I've set the pressure at about 15 psi and let's just hit it straight out. There you go, nice big, well, sort of semi-wide sort of coverage. Yeah, how fine can you get it? Sorry, not even showing that to you. And I can't get it in focus, I'm so sorry. So this is acrylic paint, not thinned, just straight from the bottle. Just trying to do some delicate fine work there. Can you quickly adjust out? Can you fade? Can you bring it back? Yeah, from a thin to a wide. Yeah, you can do that. Does it work? Yeah, of course it works. Just an airbrush. It's not the best one. See, immediately, this is what I feel. It's uncomfortable. Just the handling of it is a little bit uncomfortable. Sort of digging into me a bit there, that ridge there. And the action isn't smooth. When the action's smooth, you've got much more control. But on a cheapo, they are not so fine, they're not finessed. Could you do some camo? Of course you could. What do I think? I think it's absolutely great. It was dirt cheap. Yeah, I got the compressor, the airbrush in one package, and I'll be able to do painting and modelling to my heart's content. So, have we got a critique? Yeah, of course I do. I mean, if you're going to get... I've got the opposite view to everybody else on these airbrushes. Everybody says start with a cheap one, then go there. If you're going to do airbrushing, get a good one. I mean, not the top end, but get up there. Get an Iwata, get a Badger, get a Evolution, whatever, yeah? Get a good one, and not one of these, and you'll enjoy it more. You will enjoy it more. If it doesn't work out for you, guess what? You can sell them. But if you get something like this and you find it frustrating and horrible, you may not enjoy airbrushing at all. When you get the better gear, you get it doesn't make you a better painter, but think of it this way: you might make the process a lot more enjoyable. So that's my take on things. But regardless, very well recommended, Mr. No Name Cheapo Chinese airbrush and generic airbrush tank compressor. That's all. See you next on the next Bear Hobbies. See you later, guys.